Hi, I'm Greg Sage from Select Aquatics, and I wanted to welcome you to this video on what we do here and how we have maintained filtration and water quality at Select Aquatics. Everything is bred and raised here. Some of the lines I've had for 10 or 15 years. Each species has 3 to 4 tanks, so our numbers are usually pretty good. If there's anything that you see that you like, please email me at selectaquatics@gmail.com and I'll get right back to you. Hope you enjoy the video, and if you have any questions or comments about the video or anything that you see, I'd love to hear from you. Thank you very much.
The goal of this fish room is to raise and breed a few species in larger numbers, achieving as close as we can to maximum growth and breeding. Overcrowding or organic buildup within a tank stunts growth and inhibits breeding. Young don't survive well in a dirty tank, and a variety of problems result when too much organic waste builds up in an aquarium, and this easily takes place in any aquarium through the normal buildup of waste, uneaten foods, and simply not being able to keep the bottom of the tank clean. So a variety of practices are used here to maintain maximum cleanliness. With close to 100 tanks, I'd be spending all of my time siphoning debris if I kept standard gravel tanks with 3 to 4 times a day feeding schedules. Over the past 10 years, ways to do things have been dialed in, and I'm always working to improve the way things are done. And this has allowed for larger fish that breed regularly with young that are healthy and do well, while also allowing for higher stocking levels and very few incidences of disease, such as with this grow-out tank of the Xiphophorus alvarezi, the blue swordtail. This approach was designed from keeping livebearers, but it's excellent for most fish, with the exception, of course, of those that require a substrate. Many of the rare wild fish that have been brought into the hobby over the past 20 years, such as some of the gadiids raised here, require some of these techniques. When put into an aquarium with higher ammonia and nitrate levels, lack of water movement, or water changes, they may survive for many months, but with some fish, such as the caracodons, a spawn once or twice a year of 2 or 3 young is not what they are capable of, and they will do much better when in higher quality conditions. The first video were of Zoogoneticus tequila, considered essentially extinct in the wild, and these fish, the audax, are considered to be critically endangered. For those of you looking for a way to keep your tank so that it also looks natural and attractive, these methods are used by many customers to create attractive natural tank environments. Now, by adopting these techniques, you will not necessarily create something you'd see in a laboratory or that cannot look natural and inviting. All the tanks here, except for those where breeding a specific fish requires a different environment, are set up the same way for simplicity and effectiveness. The way the tanks are set up here is simpler and far less expensive to set up and maintain, and share many of the similarities with the way tanks were maintained with the breeders of the 1950s through the 1970s, especially those who bred livebearers. Many livebearers can be kept in less than ideal conditions. The swordtails, such as the Xiphophorus helleri, were chosen to be commercial aquarium fish because they can adapt and thrive relatively well in less than ideal conditions. Interestingly, I am finding that these Xiphophorus mayi thrive and even prefer higher density levels, but generally this would be a very overstocked tank. To raise them so they are healthy and breed well, we must keep in mind that these species generally came from clean, moving bodies of water, such as streams and shallower ponds where the water is constantly replenished. If there were a theme to the way the fish are kept here, it would be, do what is best for the fish. And these are the alvarezi golds, a line that was developed here. All tanks must incorporate both mechanical and biological filtration. Doing adequate water changes on a tank with an effective power filter alone that provides heavy mechanical filtration will not work for many fish. You can actually keep a tank too clean. You'll need a biological component to your filtration. Here we use a water changing system that changes 15% of the water daily in all the tanks and does the entire setup quietly in just under an hour. The system requires no drilling of the tanks, is inexpensive to set up, and tanks can be easily removed or changed around without concerns for drain bulkheads and other parts of a normal drilled system that can crack glass and leak. For those of you with more than 10 tanks, I highly recommend a similar system. I couldn't do what I do here without it. The only time I carry a bucket is when I'm setting up a new tank or siphoning the occasional mulm that does appear on some tanks. And of course, there's no water cross-contamination between tanks with this system. An essay on how to build this exact system is posted at selectaquatics.com. Click on the free husbandry downloads on the homepage. However, when I have kept only a tank or two, I have found that 20 to 30% water changes a week seem to provide just about maximum benefit for the species kept. Once a week can be adequate to keep them healthy and doing well, but you do see an improvement in their growth and breeding when a second change per week is done.
Out of the tanks here, there's a single layer of gravel on the bottom of the aquariums, and this is to provide extra nitrifying bacteria area. I first saw this in the Phosphorus Dock Center in Texas, and in those tanks they don't even use filtration. This is their sole means of filtration. And to get a large size pea gravel and large size pebble, I get the standard pea gravel from a home improvement store, and then a piece of 1/4 inch chicken wire and bent over the Tupperware, piece of Tupperware here, and then just sort it, taking all the small pebbles out, so that I'm left with only the biggest pieces that are very easy to clean around. And of course, with this stuff, make sure to rinse really thoroughly before you put it in the tank, because it'll really mess up your tank when it first comes out of the bag. But this has worked great. So tanks that have been cloudy will sometimes clear up within 3 to 4 days.
When choosing a filter, you need one that actually removes the waste from the aquarium. Box filters do an excellent job. They don't wear out and they provide aeration and water movement as well as excellent filtration, but they do not provide any biological component to their filtration. Hang on the back filters available at any pet store also work well, but with multiple tanks they become cumbersome to maintain, expensive to run. But they do suit the need to remove the waste from the aquarium when the floss or filter medium is changed regularly. I use these box filters with polyester floss available at any hobby store, and glass marbles that don't clog, and they weigh down the filter in the aquarium. The floss is changed the first week of each month. We do offer these box filters with lift tubes at Select Aquatics. Simply email me at selectaquatics@gmail.com and I can let you know if any are available. Using a lift tube on each filter could nearly double the flow of water through the filter medium, so you will see that all of the box filters here have them. The length of the lift tube can be up to 4 inches depending on the depth of the water in the tank, but the box filter provides only mechanical filtration. The amount of biological filtration with a box filter is negligible. And just as a box filter provides mostly mechanical filtration and very little biological filtration, a sponge filter provides very little mechanical filtration and mostly biological filtration. We experimented using sponge filters as the sole means of filtration on some tanks, but found the tanks were tougher to maintain and to keep clean with just sponge filters alone. The nice thing about the pebbles is that dirt and waste can be cleaned from the tank fairly easily. Here I use the 250 Magnum filters, but any canister filter will work. This tank, for example, looks fairly clean, but when stirred up, it's in fact very dirty and can be cleaned easily as the pebbles do not hold on to any of the waste, as happens in a normal gravel tank. After about 10 minutes, the entire tank is entirely clean. And don't let anyone convince you otherwise. Mulm is bad in a tank. It generates ammonia and harbors and encourages diseases that the fish must expend energy to defend themselves against. You want their energy to go into growth and breeding, not defending themselves against a threat of constant infection. Lastly, live plants are used in all the tanks for all that they do to improve water quality, which is substantial, as well as provide safety and security while creating a more natural environment for the fish. What was unexpected in all this was how success came primarily from what was simplest, cheapest, and easiest to create and maintain. You can keep tanks at just about any level of complexity and can spend as much money as you have, but when approaching everything from a standpoint of doing what is best for the fish, the entire task takes on a new direction. Doing what is best for the fish can also mean a way that is easier, cheaper, and simpler for you, giving you more time to enjoy the fish you are keeping. And this fish is the Poecilia volifera, known as the King of Mollies, showing off. Happiness tank after just being fed. And these are a group of male breeders of the Odessa barb, selectively bred here since about 2006.
Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And again, if you've got any questions or you'd like to contact me, simply email me at selectaquatics@gmail.com or check out the website at selectaquatics.com. Thanks. Take care, and I look forward to hearing from you.